Hello everyone, Sir Monkey Suit Zappy here, back again with Hunter x Hunter. We're on episode 127, and in the last episode, we don't really need much of an explanation, because I think it was rather self-explanatory. It was without a doubt, the most action-packed episode of the whole show, between Netero and then Meruem, going head-to-head from the start to the finish. It never let up, it was just action-packed throughout, and even when all was said and done, when it looked like Netero had nothing left, he had one more thing up his sleeve that he knew from the very get-go, that if he was to perish, he would at least take Meruem along with him. And he essentially had what I can only describe to be a nuke within him somewhere, implanted within him, that would activate as soon as his heart stopped beating. So he literally just took them both out at the end. It was insane. And that created something of like a, it would be like a mushroom cloud, but instead it was like, it was a flower instead. Beautiful, in death there's always life. I don't know, but I mean, I mean that's it for that. I don't know what the Royal Guards are going to do. I explained in the last episode that I feel like the Royal Guards would feel like he is gone now, like they would feel the impact of that, right? Because there's like a connection between them all. With him gone, I'm sure they would be able to feel it. So I'm guessing that's what we're going to be getting into this episode. Regardless, I'm excited for the aftermath of what just occurred. So, there was nothing else to really say other than it was a fantastic episode. Rip Netero, rip Meruem, and that's that. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about, so we're just going to get straight in episode 127 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 127. Fucking hell. I really enjoyed that as like a sort of aftermath episode because, I mean, really, nothing happened. But like, everything happened. Like, everything that I wanted to happen within an episode, I think, for an aftermath episode of what had occurred last episode, I think was done perfectly. The only thing that I wasn't sure about going into this episode was whether or not, I mean, the question I asked was, I think they would be able to feel it, that the king was gone, because like they have that sort of connection thing, but I guess not, because Neferpitou is still completely unaware, whereas Youpi and Shia, they saw the explosion, so they like their minds went to like the worst outcome possible, so yeah, that there at the end. The king's sort of charred remains. I don't know if they're charred remains or like it's solidified them into like rock, because I don't know how, like, I wasn't expecting him to be found. The idea of like it being a tomb and now it turned to like liquid hot magma, liquid hot magma, as Dr. Evil would say. I don't think the consistency of magma like allows for things to float up in it. So I don't know how they would have found it. And I thought the idea was that the tomb underground that Netero specifically decided to fight there was so that, like, like Youpi was saying, like the explosion may have, basically knocked him away. I thought that was the whole point. So that there was nowhere for him to go, nowhere for him to hide from the explosion, and he would be caught up in it, and he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. I thought that was the whole point. So I'm surprised they even found the body, to be honest. It could be charred remains, it might not be. I mean, that's the thing you've got to remember, is that they are ants, so they've got that sort of exoskeleton, so it might have done something different to it than, like, kind of fossilized it in a way. But seeing the royal guards, well, Youpi and Shia, like, just their moods like swiftly change, because that's the thing, like, we've sort of seen them work under like the king and whatnot, and we know, like, obviously, like, how they think about him via talking about him, like how he's just like, everything for the king and all of that kind of stuff, but we haven't really seen them on an emotional level. Shia you have a bit, but like to this degree, like knowing he's dead. It's just like, I don't know what they do now. Because Youpi was saying, if they do find him, we go and kill everybody at the king's side. Which is interesting. It's like Youpi's sort of ideals had changed a bit. Like, you know, we saw him change into this sort of like he had this sort of, you know, he'd formed this honor in a way against like the likes of Knuckle and stuff. But in that moment, the thought had like that had gone, and he was just thinking about killing everybody. So that would have included Knuckle, I suppose. So yeah, it turned into magma. Shit in hell. Like I don't even think like nukes don't even do that, you know? So that would have had to explode at such a fucking heat. Like what is the heat that rock melts at? Heat that rock melts. Heat for magma. I don't know. Magma is a molten and semi-molten rock mixture between 700 degrees and 1300 degrees Celsius. Jesus. So that's about 1300 degrees Fahrenheit to 2400 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly, anyway. Jesus. Yep, that's hot. That's hot. I mean, fucking hell. That was insane. I wasn't expecting that. Like, I was expecting like just a massive crater, but the fact is that the rock all around it, like, I've got to wonder if like Netero and whatnot had known that would be the case, so that even if he survived the explosion, like the heat of the magma whatever would just cause him to solidify, and that would be that. It's like it's like they're just trying to make sure completely that he didn't survive the explosion, trap him underground so that the explosion doesn't make him fly away. Heat up the rock to a point where it's a magma state, so that he just solidifies with it and can't get out. Jesus, insane. So yeah, they had the whole thing about like nuclear warfare as well at the start, which yeah, I said during the reaction as well. Like I'm positive, like way back in some episodes or whatever. I think it was like before the Palace invasion, everything like that. I think it was when they were just coming into the country. And I said something about, why don't you just nuke them all from orbit? You know, because I was like, well, how did they take them down if they're this powerful or something? And I just said, just nuke them from orbit or something. And it's like they did, except it wasn't from orbit. But you know, it's just essentially what was similar to a nuke. Yeah, but they were talking about how there's, what'd they say? They said there was like 50 times as much or something as that one that they. So what? There's 50 then? There's 50 out there. They can be used. Because they banned the use of them, right? But I don't know if they banned the creation of them. It seemed like the way they were talking about was that, you know, the ones that had been created were the ones that were created, and that was it. They weren't allowed to make any more. But yeah, I was actually surprised at like how little the death toll was in one of the cities. They said that it was like 110,000 or something, and that's like in a major city, in the middle of one. Like major cities tend to have like up to, you know, I guess I don't know the population of this world, so you know, like relatively, I suppose it could be a lot, but yeah, Jesus. I wrote down Komugi. Komugi is not safe, and that was at the beginning of the episode. I didn't even think about it like at the end of the episode. I said in the reaction, like, it's crazy to think that Komugi was actually safer with the Chimera Ants and Meruem than she is now with our crew, the humans. Which is, you know for a fact it was specifically written that way. And the idea that Komugi is blind, like I said, gives her no preconceptions as to what, like, you know, how the characters are. You know, if she was able to see when she met Meruem and whatnot, you know, it would have been like a whole different story. I mean, she said there at the end there that, you know, who are these people? Who am I with? She just sees it as, you know, Meruem's the supreme leader. And he doesn't, you know, she doesn't know what, or her mind was just filled with Gungi, and that was it. She didn't know about anything, like, you know, she doesn't really care much about anything else. So yeah, it's crazy, especially like, you know, in a way it does work in our favor And by our favor, I mean like, you know, our group of characters. Like Killua was saying, if I was to go along and Neferpitou was to get me, then that means it would just be used against Gon as a way to get back Komugi. Whereas if Gon goes on his own, there's nothing that can be used against him. I mean, well, that being said, they're going to Beijing where Kite is and whatnot. So Pitou could theoretically, like... well, I don't know. Maybe she can't use Kite as a... Like, I don't know, like, she could say, like, oh, well, I'll not heal Kite until I get Komugi back or something. But if Kite's already in that state, I don't know. I really don't know. That's the thing, like, there's no way Kite's getting back, so I don't... Komugi's in a horrible situation right now. Because I'm sure you can't get Kite back after that. Like I said this episodes ago, when, you know, when Gon was like, you're going to take me back and fix Kite and whatever, it's like, I'm sure he can't be. I'm sure he's dead, and like essentially his body's being used as a puppet. You know, it's not like it's not like he's alive anymore. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go, but Komugi's in danger. Sort of. Because I don't see how any of the other characters right now are really going to kill Komugi off. You know, the one person there that I would say would have sort of like possibly beforehand killed Komugi under such circumstances would have been Killua, but he's changed specifically, like over the course of this arc. It's been huge, so even that wouldn't happen. What could be the outcome is the only reason why Gon is so fucking almost inhumane at this point. Like, he's not even considering... I mean, Komugi's just a fucking, you know, like, she's just a sweet little girl that's caught up in all of this, and he's ready to kill her for the sake of something else. The only reason that is why it is because of this whole Kite situation and Neferpitou. So if they go to Beijing and, you know, you have the likes of, you know, Kite is unable to be healed or whatever, and then you've got, you know, Gon goes absolutely crazy. They start a fight, and then that fight ends with Gon getting out his frustrations and all of his rage and whatnot built up around that whole situation. That he actually, you know, he comes to terms with it. Obviously, it won't be that quick, but I feel like at least the sort of the rage or whatever might have subsided enough to the point where he's not going to harm an innocent little girl. So, you know, hopefully that is the way that sort of the outcome does happen, because either way, I don't think we're getting Kite back. I just think he's dead, and his body's, you know, his limbs and whatnot are being manoeuvred around like a puppet. So I just, either way, this ends up in a fight, I think, with Gon and Neferpitou. So we'll just have to, you know, wait and see what does occur with that. I love the whole thing with the Ant's true nature coming out as well, like that kind of sort of, I mean, we only got a small glimpse of it, but if they come back and they're like ready to fight, and they just, you know, who was it Nov that said that they'll become like demonic, and they'll go in like this demon state, like back to, like, you know, what their true form is, which is more bug like. That was like very, it was a very visceral image. The you know, like the almost like the ant head that was, you know, like half ant head or whatever that was in Shire's clone there, because it was drawn so realistically, which does like have that sort of off-putting sort of feel, because at the end of the day, it's an animation, it's a cartoon, it's cartoony, isn't it? So, yeah, very visceral. What else? Palm has retained her abilities, apparently. I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, I guess that is the case, because they don't really know at this point. But I imagine Palm is aware that she can do anyway, which is great because that means she's just leveled up essentially. Like the Chimera ants have actually just given her something, you know, and she hasn't changed allegiances, which is fantastic. So yeah, she's even stronger now. Really cool. I like that. What else? What else? Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. That's all I've got. So very interesting episode, and I really like that as a sort of just an aftermath to the fight, just to see like where everybody's at right now. And I think it's a good thing that Nefer doesn't know, because if Nefer Peter did know and did feel that whole thing, and then therefore she freaked out like the other two had, I don't know. I mean, at the moment, the way Gon is right now, I mean, his awareness, man, is nuts right now. It's insane. He picked up on the whole thing of, like, you know, she's stolen for time, and he even allowed that to a certain degree. But he said, like, you know, if you delay me once more, I swear to God, you know, like, he was not fucking playing around. So he already knew, and because of that awareness, like, I almost fancy his chances against Neferpita right now, even though Killua and you know, and Palm were, like, you know, even, you know, alone, even if all of us took her on together, we still wouldn't have a chance. But I mean, I don't know if it's just the way that they've written the show, like, you know, up until this point, that is making me believe that Gon has a chance against her. Then I guess it's done its job. But yeah, I mean, like, I fancy his chances one-on-one, but I don't think I would have if Neferpita knew about the king and all of that, and went into her, like, sort of just demonic barbaric state and whatever, and then just went absolutely crazy. So I don't know, but yeah, that's all I've got. So great episode. Thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish, and I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That's 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday, as opposed to the general public that only get access to 2 episodes a week. So by the time this episode comes out on YouTube for the general public, I'll be finished the show, so you can go over, become an early access tier patron, and have access to the rest of the show. And if you can binge watch it all within a month's time, it's only going to cost you $5 for the rest of the show and reaction, so it's a pretty good deal. There's also $10 there for full length. That doesn't matter for this show, but for other shows you will need that. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have a certain show reacted to as well. So if you want me to react to a show, go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that's all I've got. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.